Hi, everybody. I'm Mike. This is Budget Guns and Gear Reviews, and you are listening to The Right of the People, where we use the first to defend the second every Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. So uncover your keyboards and fire up your fingers. Time to join the conversation.
Hello to everybody out there on YouTube's and simulcast on gun channels. How are you tonight? It is Friday, February 2nd, 2019, and I'm absolutely sure the groundhog done saw his shadow or didn't see his shadow or whatever the hell it is that gets us 6 more weeks of winter. Yeah, we probably got like 12 more coming. We'll see. Except for like tomorrow and the next day when it's in the 50s. As crazy as it seems. It was negative 50 2 days ago. It's 50 2 days from now. Crazy.
It's February 1st, Budget. What's
that?
It's February 1st.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It is the 1st.
Yeah, tomorrow's every second matters.
Well,
That might be why you didn't see your groundhog today.
that would be why. That would be why. Hey, you know what? This is Budget Guns and Gear Reviews. You get what you pay for, right? Anyhow, speaking of my wonderful panel, since you were so kind as to correct me there, Kingpin, is there anything else you got going on? How's it going today?
I'm doing all right, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Who am I going to have to help me keep my day straight? You got to remember, man, I work midnights. I never know when I went to sleep, it was the first, you know. So for me, getting up, it's the second.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my story, and I'll stick to it.
Sounds good to me. I worked nights before. It sounds like very plausible.
All right. Adam, Modern Anti-Federalist, how are ya?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm fighting the death flu cold, but I'm here, and I'm happy to be here.
Oh, you didn't go to SHOT Show and get the SHOT Show AIDS, right?
No, I wish that's not in the cards financially. Maybe in a year or two.
Yeah, I hear you, man. That's kind of where I am with it. It's in the category of it would be nice, but I don't know that it's going to happen anytime soon. That's why I'm going to NRA and the USCCA, because they're both a lot closer to me than Las Vegas.
Yeah, you know, I would like to go to some stuff like that. I'll see if there's anything on my neck of the woods. That'd be fun.
Squib, how you doing? You killing Terminators tonight or what?
I moved away from the robots. As soon as you start doing intros, I'm speed walking like some old lady at the mall an hour before it opens. You know, I don't know if they still do that, where they let the
I don't know. I haven't been to a mall in years.
So back in the I haven't either. But back in the day, the mall didn't open until like 11 on Sunday, and I think it opened at maybe 10 during the week. No, wait, the mall was closed on Sunday. Oh, man, I really am dating myself. Anyhow, an hour before the stores opened, they would unlock the mall, and people could walk around the mall for exercise. So it'd be a bunch of senior citizens speed walking through the mall for an hour before they unlocked the stores. So that's what I look like, trying to speed walk across the plant to try to get into the office area, you know, where I've got to change the trash every Friday at 7. Thanks for the reminder.
And lock the doors.
And lock the doors, yeah. Thank you. So yeah, I was. I look kind of silly. I mean, not that I don't look silly at work, but I look kind of silly speed walking across the factory. I gotta get in there before, because all you're gonna hear in the background are all the robots, which break all the time. What's that?
Maybe they think you got to poop.
Yeah, maybe they do. Maybe they do. With regard to SHOT Show, I want to go out there and do it at least once. The problem is, I won't even go. I'll get to Vegas and you won't see me there. Be like, where's Squid? You know, shouldn't he be over here in the media room, or shouldn't he be going to the,
He's over to the red table.
Oh man, you know what? When I go to Vegas, I gamble, but I don't gamble like people think. People think you got to, you know, bring thousands of dollars with you, and you stay there, you know, 18 hours straight and lose track of time and don't get any sleep, and you know, all this. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. It's more of a tourist slogan to get people to come out there. It's really not. It's not what people make it out to be if you've never been. When I'm in Vegas, I'm going around. I'm shopping. I'm hiking in the desert. I'm I'm getting a lot of exercise. I get up in the morning and I like to jog, which is something I don't do here in Michigan. Maybe I should go to the mall an hour early and speed walk with the other senior citizens. I don't know, but
I hear you.
yeah, if I ever go out for SHOT Show, you'll be lucky to see me walking around the floor. So, but I wouldn't mind doing it once, just say I've done it.
Roll call. How you doing, buddy? Sneaking in at the last minute.
Yeah, I was messing around over there with Night Strike and Rich White and Gary Gizzard. And, just chilling. And I had some stuff to do. I had a little bit of background information I had to do for a buddy of mine. But other than that, I'm here.
Good. Well, I'm glad to have you, brother.
We got the Midwest trifecta going on here.
That's right.
Yes.
All right. Out there in the chat on the YouTube side, we got Eric Patrick, which is a new one. And I think he kind of is a troll. His very first comment before we even started, he says, I think about superpowers instead of guns. I think about saving lives. I'd rather give superpowers to the poor, the sick, and the elders to survive. Yeah, I bet you like the scent of unicorn farts too, buddy. I think he was a little bit of a troll. Otherwise, we got the Poor Conservative, Guitar Man Pete, Warsaw Patriot, John Brown Productions. We got Kingpin doing double duty here. Seven Wonders, Rich White. So Mad Sexy's in the house. Rob D, how you guys doing? Glad to see all of you here. Let me go ahead over to the Gun Channel side, which, by the way, we are simulcast on Gun Channels. If you're not a member of Gun Channels, go on over and check it out, gunchannels.com. It is the water cooler of the Internet's Second Amendment community, and you will find someone to talk with and something to talk about over there 24/7, 365. It never closes, and it is free. You do not have to be a creator. You can just be a regular Joe, and there's still something over there for you. So now that I'm done running off at the mouth, let me go ahead and hit that refresh button to see if there's anyone over there. Let's see. We got we got Pete Ortega, David Bowling in Ohio 45 ACP. Hello. Thanks for being over there. Looks like Ghost he materialized over here tonight. How you doing, sir?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me tonight. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, man. You are always welcome. Just the usual shenanigans over here. I can't remember what day it is. So that's how it is.
I understand that.
I thought it was the second because, I work midnights, and last night it was the first for me, and I went to sleep and got back up. So now it's the second, doggone it. But yeah, no, that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works, right?
That's right. Yeah, tomorrow is every second matters. So.
Okay, we got a lot to talk about. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can.
Sounds like Budget's pulling his inner Smeggy.
Oh, shots fired.
No kidding. No, I'm just trying to do two things at once. My tiny brain is can barely do one thing at once competently.
I resemble that comment.
Yeah.
Kingpin, go check Instagram.
No, I'm sending out another invite.
Okay, I'll do that right now.
All right. Here we go. Let's go ahead and dive right into this tonight. It's been over a year in the making, but the FBI finally released their report on the Mandalay Bay shooting. This is by Ken Ritter and Michael Balsamo from the Associated Press. FBI finds no specific motive in Vegas attack that killed 58. Las Vegas, the high-stakes gambler responsible for the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history, sought notoriety in the attack, but left his specific motive a mystery, the FBI said Tuesday as it concluded the investigation of the 2017 massacre that killed 58 country music fans. While the agency found no single or clear motivating factor to explain why Stephen Paddock opened fire from his suite in a high-rise casino hotel, Paddock may have been seeking to follow in his father's criminal footsteps, the FBI said. Well, Jesus, they were saying this a week after it started, a week after it happened. They took him this long to say, yeah, like we said before. It wasn't about MGM, Mandalay Bay, or a specific casino or venue, Aaron Rouse, the agent in charge of the FBI's Las Vegas office, told the Associated Press. It was all about doing the maximum amount of damage and him obtaining some form of infamy. Paddock's physical and mental health was declining. The 64-year-old's wealth had diminished, and he was struggling with aging, federal agents said. The findings were contained in a long-awaited report compiled by the FBI's Behavior Analysis Unit, a group of experts who spent months examining several factors that might have led to the rampage. This report comes as close to understanding the why as we're ever going to get, Rouse said. Paddock, who acted alone, fatally shot himself as police closed in. Well, that was all mighty convenient, wasn't it? Almost 900 people were hurt during the October 1st, 2017 attack on an outdoor concert. The gunman was inspired in part by his father's reputation as a bank robber who was once on the FBI's most wanted list, the report said. In many ways, he was similar to other active shooters the FBI has studied, motivated by a complex merging of development issues, stress, and interpersonal relationships. His decision to murder people while they were being entertained was consistent with his personality, the report said. The gunman was not directed or inspired by any group and was not seeking to further any agenda. He did not leave a manifesto or suicide note, and federal agents believe he had planned to fatally shoot himself after the attack, according to the report. Kimberly King, who along with her husband was hurt at the concert, said Paddock was just a sick person. She doesn't care why he carried out the attack. How did he get the chance to do it? That's what upsets me the most, the Las Vegas woman said. How could this have happened, and how could we have let this happen? Paddock was a retired Postal Service worker, accountant, and real estate investor who owned rental properties and homes in Reno and in a retirement community more than an hour's drive from Las Vegas. He also held a private pilot's license and liked to gamble tens of thousands of dollars at a time playing video poker. His younger brother, Eric Paddock, claimed him the king of microaggression. A narcissistic, detail-oriented, and maybe bored enough with life to plan an attack that would make him famous. His ex-wife told investigators that he grew up with a single mom in a financially unstable home, and he felt a need to be self-reliant. Police characterized him as a loner with no religious or political affiliations who began stockpiling weapons about a year before the attack. He spent more than $1.5 million in the 2 years before the shooting and distanced himself from his girlfriend and family. He sent his girlfriend, Mary Lou Danley, to visit her family in the Philippines 2 weeks before the attack and wired her $150,000 while she was there. Danley, a former casino worker in Reno, returned to the U.S. after the shooting and told authorities that Paddock had complained that he was sick and that doctors told him he had a chemical imbalance and could not cure him. Danley, who is a Catholic, told investigators that Paddock often told her, "Your God doesn't love me." A Reno car salesman told police that in the months before the shooting, Paddock told him he was depressed and had relationship troubles. Paddock's doctor offered him antidepressants, but told investigators that Paddock would only accept a prescription for anxiety medication. Paddock's gambling habits made him a sought-after casino patron. Mandalay Bay employees readily let him use a service elevator to take multiple suitcases to the $590 per night suite he had been provided for free. Authorities said he asked for the room, which had a commanding view of the Strip and the Route 91 Harvest Festival concert grounds across the street. The night of the massacre, Paddock used assault-style rifles to fire more than 1,000 rounds in 11 minutes into the crowd of 22,000 music fans. Most of the rifles were fitted with rapid-fire bump stock devices and high-capacity magazines. Some had bipod braces and scopes. Authorities said Paddock's guns had been legally purchased. Las Vegas police closed their investigation last August, and Clark County Sheriff Joe Lombardo declared the police work complete after hundreds of interviews and thousands of hours of investigative work. Lombardo vowed never to speak Paddock's name again in public. A Las Vegas police spokesman declined to comment on the FBI's report. A separate report made public in August involving the Federal Emergency Management Agency found that communications were snarled during and after the shooting. It said police, fire, and medical responders were overwhelmed by 911 calls, false reports of other shootings at Las Vegas casinos, and the number of victims. Hotel security video and police body camera recordings made public in a public records lawsuit filed by media organizations, including the AP, showed police using explosives to blast through the door of this 32nd floor hotel suite where Paddock was found dead. He left behind nothing that offered an explanation. He acted alone. He committed a heinous act. He died by his own hand, Rouse said. If he wanted to leave a message, he would have left a message. Bottom line is, he didn't want people to know. So basically, the FBI's report says, yeah, we don't know nothing. They're taking the Sergeant Schultz route.
I wouldn't say that. If that's their actual report, you read it out, I think that report's fairly conclusive. This is what I said right after it happened. Everybody's like, oh, it's the ATF planting guns and machine guns in there, and they're trying to take away our guns. This guy's a patsy. You know, the whole Lee Harvey Oswald BS conspiracy thing.
Yeah.
Okay, the guy was crazy. The guy was depressed. The guy had money problems. Now, we look at how much money he's got, and we say, damn, that's a lot of money. But for him, maybe that was money problems. He wanted to go out famous. As far as him sneaking guns into the casino, dude, any of us could have brought guns up to the 32nd floor of the casino. Even today, with their extra security measures, which I have a video on that I haven't released, you can still get all those guns in there. This is not some government conspiracy. This is not, there was another shooter and all that. Now, there was a lot of pandemonium that day, just like any time there's some sort of event and people start panicking. But the guy wanted some notoriety. He wanted to go out on his terms, and he's just a sick, evil person. There's sick, evil people in the world. Not everybody leaves a suicide note. Not everybody leaves the big fat trail of breadcrumbs. I'm good with this. I'm not good with what happened, and there's nothing. There's no law you can put out there. There's no company policy or law you can put out there that would ever stop this from happening again. MGM Properties has new security procedures in place. Because of this, they wouldn't stop it from happening again in Las Vegas at an MGM property. Their little procedure isn't going to stop crap. Okay, you can pass a law banning bump stocks or anything else. Somebody could still get into a high-rise building, bust the window, and start shooting. Now, there are some buildings that are more secure than others. Try to get in One World Trade Center with a gun case. It's not going to happen walking through the front door. But there's lots of times where a fire exit is blocked by propped open by a smoker. There's lots of times where the loading dock gives you access to the whole building. It wouldn't be that hard to back up a van like you're a delivery guy and walk in with a cardboard box like you're dropping off something on a loading dock, and then when nobody's looking, slip in and go up the fire, the stairs for the emergency exit. I mean, and I'm not trying to give anybody ideas, but these are just, I don't care what you say you're going to do to your location.
Given this some thought there, Squid?
Well, no, I'm a facilities guy. I deal with security of the facility, and I've had to deal with active threat situations. I've had some training, and we had an active threat situation once, and I've worked with law enforcement on things like that. Plus, I mean, look, I've had situations where we've had an air quote secure building, and I've walked around the perimeter of building and found so many holes in that. It's right, whatever.
Oh yeah.
When I go visit places, I'm looking where are the fire exits. Are they to code? How's the lighting? I even check the fixtures in the bathrooms. I'm looking for security cameras. I'm looking at how well is the parking structure. Just because it's in my nature. I'm a facilities guy, and when I do that, I see stuff. I see stuff in buildings all over. So I don't care if you've got a metal detector at the main entrance. There are 4 doors that you can sneak in the back of the building: a courthouse, a hospital, a concert hall. If you take the time to study it, or you've worked there, or you just get plain lucky, there are ways to do what this guy did anywhere in the country, anytime, with any kind of firearm, or I guess anything else that might be able to throw a projectile that far. So the government can't stop this from happening again by passing laws that don't do anything, that don't help anybody, it doesn't improve public safety. And companies can't maintain their security. They can come up with policies, they can buy expensive equipment, they can tell their employees but there will always be some way to breach security with low tech or low expense. So at the end of the day, we just have to say it's just like getting in your car and driving to work every day. It's something you have to do. It's something you want to do, whatever it is. Getting in your car and driving to the store is something you want to do. You run the risk of getting in a traffic accident every single time you get in that car. Well, if you're around a high-rise building, you run the risk of something falling off that building, or somebody shooting you from that building, or an earthquake causing that building to fall over and crush you, or possibly, heaven forbid, another situation where a plane flies into a building, right? It's just something you got. If you can't live with it, stay away from high-rise buildings, honestly.
Yeah, I'd like to live my life a little bit happier than worrying about all that. But no, I hear what you're saying, Squib. But I will say something. I want to play devil's advocate a little bit on the report itself, not about what government can or can't do or what legislators can and can't do. But part of the report that kind of makes it weird for me is on several accounts in that report, they say from different people in his life that he is a narcissist. And if anyone knows anything about someone who is an absolute narcissist, there is no way that he wouldn't have written a manifesto or a note. That's what he wanted. He wanted his last thoughts. This is in my opinion. I'll be wrong, but my opinion is someone who is a narcissist is going to want people to hear his voice and be famous, yes, but also hear what he has to say. So I find it very odd and eerie that he took, quote unquote, his own life by his own hand and left no note or manifesto. That doesn't seem to me like that goes with any other narcissist. I don't want to call them, I'd say murderers that we've had in years past. They've all had something that they left behind. So that kind of makes me, I'm not trying to be conspiracy theory here, but it does seem weird to me.
You're saying it doesn't fit the MO of somebody with that sort of personality.
Exactly, because it wasn't just one person that said that. It was multiple people in his life. His brother, everyone in his life said he was all about being famous and is a narcissist, but yet he doesn't leave anything behind to people to put in the newspaper. That just seems weird to me.
It does, and that is a very good point to bring up. But at the end of the day, how many times did Budget just say his last name reading that report? They're going to call him, even if they don't even remember his first name, last name, what he looked like. They're going to remember that, in 2017, some guy shot up a concert in Las Vegas from a casino window. They may not remember what floor it's on. They may not remember it's Mandalay Bay. They may not remember it was some guy named Alderaan or something. But they're going to remember that. Just like people know John F. Kennedy was assassinated. Do they know? Does everybody know Lee Harvey Oswald's name? Can't even say right.
I'm pretty sure they do, yeah.
Well, but there's a younger generation, right? There's a younger generation out there that doesn't remember the Cold War, that doesn't remember 9/11, they just know that JFK was a president, maybe, if they even know that. So I'm just saying, over time, they may not know his name or the details, but they'll know some guy shot up a concert in Las Vegas. So for that, he's going to get his notoriety. But yeah, I can see what you're saying about a narcissist doesn't care what they do to other people, just as long as they come out on top.
Exactly.
And guys, honestly, I think, the narcissism probably definitely played a factor, but there is something that I'm noticing that's missing. I remember that they said they found some Islamic text in his hotel room. There was some ties that his girlfriend had to radical Islamic groups. I think it was ISIS, actually. He may have become radicalized into a radical Islamic belief. And I just remember reading so many stories about that didn't add up. And to not hear anything about that at all, oh, no, there's just no ties. That rings some bells for me. And then I don't know about you guys, but I just thought the whole thing was crazy with, this is me really putting my tinfoil on, but I remember catching the story the day after it happened. I'm downstairs watching the TV, the news is playing, drinking my coffee, and when I heard the sounds of the gunfire, to me it sounded like an M240 Bravo, which is a belt-fed medium machine gun. And maybe it was the echoes off the buildings, but it did not sound like 5.56 to me. It sounded like the fire from a M240, and I've heard this gun shot way too many times to not remember that sound.
Yeah, but see, a lot of people came out and did that. Oh, it's an M240. Oh, it's an M249. Oh, it's an M60. Oh, that's definitely full auto fire. Oh, bump stocks. So you guys, when you do that, you're throwing fuel on the fire that the anti-gunners use against us. Some of that conspiracy BS is just conspiracy BS. I mean,
Well, you know,
and then it's like, oh, there was another shooter, and there was a guy on the 4th floor, even though no other glass was broke, apparently. And it's just, you know, it's just, I think there was a lot of confusion that day, and I think there's a lot of people grasping at straws because they don't have all the answers. And when we don't have all the answers, what do? We try to fill in the blanks. And we're going to use any opinion or any report, verifiable or not, or it just, a lot of that stuff, it's not plausible. It's just not plausible. Could the government be covering up something? Sure, well, they could. That
makes it plausible then.
Well, no. Why would they do it there, then how? There's 100 other ways they could have done it a lot better. So and their end game is to do what? Ban bump stocks? Really? A stupid piece of plastic nobody gives a crap about except Night Strike? That was the whole thing? They killed all those people just to ban? No, sorry. I'm not buying it.
I'm not saying that the government was behind it. I'm saying that this FBI report is not even close to being conclusive. Where are the ballistic reports? They said that there were some that have bump stock and all that. I want to know in the report exactly what guns were fired. They know that. They can do the ballistic reports. They can do all that stuff. They should be able to tell us exactly what weapons were fired, because that's my whole thing. I could care less about a bump stock one way or the other. But if you're going to utilize this shooting to regulate any kind of firearm part, there better be 100% conclusive evidence that it was used.
Hi, Mel. How you doing?
Pretty good, guys. Actually really wanted to jump in on this one because of two things. Number one, I was in Vegas when the shooting happened. We had a conference going on at the Mandalay Bay. I was staying at the Luxor, and one of my good friends was staying at the Mandalay Bay, and he was directly underneath the shooter. I was actually texting with him back and forth while the whole thing was going on. So I kind of had some context as to, you know, timeline of things that were going on. And the other thing I wanted to mention is a while ago, they released the Las Vegas police report. And in that Las Vegas police report, there is a ton of pictures, and you can see all the weapons that he used, you know, the magazines, the ammo, all this stuff. And I agree with the sounds didn't line up, but when you see what he was using and how he was using it, you can kind of believe it.
Oh, I have no problem with that statement whatsoever. My thing is, I just want to see an FBI federal official report, one way or the other. It makes no difference to me one way or the other. But I want to see a report that comes out and said this was used. We have ballistic evidence that says this was used. We have casings. We have this, that, and the other. That's all I'm looking for. I don't care.
All of that is in the Las Vegas police report. If you Google Las Vegas shooting police report and you bring up the actual PDF file of it, it's got a timeline of everything that was going on. It's got how many rounds of ammo they retrieved, how many casings they retrieved. It has pictures of the scene. And one of the pictures they show is kind of like where the door was blown in. And I tell you what, they got a little happy when they blew that door, because there was chunks of that door basically out the window.
Maybe they were hoping he was on the other side of the door. You know what I mean? It'd be like, I don't know, it's crazy. The breaching charge got him. The thing is though, it's cell phone video. And it's cell phone video from distance. They're down below, he's up above. And you're going to have echo and reverberation, and gunfire sounds like gunfire. I tell you what, you could say it was a bump stock or it was a full auto gun, but not necessarily what type. Now, if he was up there with a Gatling gun, yeah, that makes an entirely different sound. But gunfire is gunfire to some extent. Extent. So,
well, like I said, though, in the pictures, though, you can see the Surefire mags that he used. Yes, I mean, he didn't use 30-round mags. He used 100-round Surefires. Those really cool aluminum double stacks that
aren't very. But those magazines aren't very reliable. But they happen to work that day. Just like the people who go, well, he's got enough money. He could have bought an NFA item. He literally could have bought, an M60 machine gun. He had. Well, why didn't he? Well, why didn't he do a lot of things? Why didn't he rent a plane? He could have rented a Cessna and crashed it into that and done a lot more damage. When you got a pilot's license, you don't have to own a plane. You can rent one. Okay, why didn't he pick a different target? Why didn't he do 100 other different things? Why didn't he leave a note? We don't know. There's lots of holes in it. It's not right. We should have more answers. We want more answers. But when we start making,
if he would have had his notes sitting on the table, it would have been blown out on the Las Vegas Strip. They used enough explosive.
Well, maybe, but I'm just saying we all want answers, and we should get answers. But the problem is sometimes things happen and we don't get answers, and it sucks, especially for the people who were the victims. They don't get complete closure. Even when you get closure, do you really get closure? No, you lost somebody, or you're in a wheelchair the rest of your life, or whatever the heck it is. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. But there are times in life where we just don't get the answers to the question why. And I think this is just one of those unfortunate times. The end game, though, or the end result, what they're doing with gun laws, that isn't going to make anybody any safer.
No. Banning a piece of plastic that can be, that you can bump fire 20 different ways without it. It's just them doing something to make them feel safe, which is horseshit. Sorry, Richard.
No, it's okay. I think that what sticks in my craw about this is that the FBI's report, the FBI by and large is seen as the authority. They're seen as the local police can come out with what they want. The state can come out with what they want. But as a rule, the FBI report is generally felt to be the definitive issue, the definitive report on the subject. And it doesn't have anything in it that we don't already know. That hasn't come out in the first couple months after this. So to spend all this time and not have any new information, it just doesn't seem right to me. That's all.
Yeah. No, if you ask me, the FBI did a terrible job. When you look at the police report from the Vegas PD, they did a much better job than the FBI did, and they're just reporting on the actual crime.
What your bottom line is, you're not happy with the way a federal agency botched up something that we pay taxes and depend on them to do, and they're supposed to be experts, and they're supposed to be the authority, and they're supposed to be the only ones who are allowed to do this, and they botched it up. Okay, these are the same people that botched up Waco, right? You see what I'm saying? I mean, think about it. The FBI didn't take down Al Capone. The IRS did. Okay, so pick your alphabet. For the agency, but the federal government screws up all kinds of stuff.
I think that my frustration is you have to figure that President Trump directed the ATF to regulate bump stocks based on he's not going to use the Las Vegas police report. He was going to be getting information from the federal side, which would be the FBI. And so you're thinking, okay, he's having to get some information from the FBI before he starts doing this stuff. And then it comes out that this is the information that he was getting to regulate the bump stock. It just doesn't add up to me. It really doesn't.
That's thin. That's really poor and thin.
FBI reports don't come out like, your 10th grade, book report that you got to turn into your teacher. No. When somebody writes an FBI report, it goes through editing processes and it goes through the chain of command before it gets released to the public. So it's very possible that the FBI report could be packed full of stuff that they just didn't release to the public.
Well, that's what I'm saying is there's a lot of information I guarantee you that got blacked out that did not get released. The problem is we're talking about regulating things off of this report. We deserve to see the entire report.
Yeah. Public opinion is swayed enough as a result of this to take action on something. Well, we should have all the information we need to make an educated and informed decision on it instead of whatever they want us to know.
They did this in 1968. Okay, the whole thing with JFK getting assassinated, and then RFK gets assassinated, and Martin Luther King gets assassinated, and then what did they do? The 1968 Gun Control Act. That was based off of that. I realized that the first assassination happened in late '63, and so it took him a while. And then you also have to look at who the president was at the time. That guy wasn't about individual freedoms at all. But this is now from that standpoint, saying history is repeating itself, where they're using an event or a couple events against us, and they're not doing anything that really makes the public any safer. Yes, I'll give you that. But I mean, some of the other stuff.
Oh, it's really going to get bad.
I mean, they really should have more facts. But look at how long ago did JFK get assassinated? What would that be? 50 some odd years?
55 and a half years ago.
Yeah, 55 and a half years ago, and we still don't have all the answers. I think the time ran out on the Warren Commission as far as the information being released, and we still don't have all the answers. I think 55 years from now, they're still not going to have all the answers on Las Vegas. It's not right. It's bullcrap. It is. Somebody knows something. Yeah, there was probably a lot of stuff blacked out, just like they did back in 1963. But until we start getting different kinds of people running these government agencies and different kinds of people in office at all levels, instead of these damn career politicians and stuff, we're going to keep getting the same stuff that our parents got and our grandparents got.
What do you think, Ro? You've been pretty quiet in this.
I'm with Ghost, man. You're going to take away bump stocks, but you're not saying what guns were used. So you didn't even put that in your report, or was it in the blackout section of the report? So why black it out? If you're going to regulate bump stocks and say that, well, they were the cause for the mass killing, then why not put that in your report? Why not show the guns that were used? Why not show the brands of the guns that were used? You're regulating something that...
All of that information is on Wikipedia. You realize that, right?
Which can be edited and added to by anyone.
If you're using Wikipedia as a source
I'm saying Mel already said it's in the police report. It's public knowledge. Okay, the FBI didn't put it in the report. Why? I don't know. They're the FBI. They're idiots. But that information is out there.
Well, I would consider myself someone who keeps up with pretty much good current affairs. And I didn't know that there was a Las Vegas police report out there. So the vast majority of Americans probably don't know there's one. They're probably like I was, waiting for the FBI report. So that's my whole thing is, if you're the FBI and you are a federal agency giving information to the Oval Office, who is now using a federal regulation through a federal organization called the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Bureau, why in the hell is that federal agency, the FBI, withholding information?
Exactly.
That's my whole thing. I mean, it is what it is, but that's the question that I have. I want to know, the old saying from A Few Good Men, I want the truth. Maybe I can't handle the truth, but I do want the truth.
Local 223 says the LVPD report lists all the guns found. You people need to read the LVPD report, or else you sound stupid.
Guns found.
Okay, so
does it say which were used?
Do they list which ones were actually fired on that day?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. What guns were actually used? Were they the ones that had bump stocks on them? Does anywhere?
Okay, but when you want that, when you're looking for that, and you do have a right to that, I get that. But when you want that, what you're doing is grasping at straws for the conspiracy theories that don't hold water.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I just want to know the information.
Theory. It's the fact that they're trying to ban these things, and they're not saying that they was used. You see what I'm saying? They're trying to ban something, but they're not saying it was used to commit a crime. That's not right. That's an infringement.
President Trump went on TV and said it was used. Whether it was
I don't care about President Trump, Squid. Come on, he's a narcissist. He's the biggest narcissist of them all.
Presidents don't ever lie. But I'm saying, it doesn't get much more official than that. Even if he's lying, even if he doesn't know, even if he's just used it. He went out on TV, and that's what I'm saying. When people are going, well, nobody's even said that is it. Well, actually, the top guy in law enforcement in the country said it. So even if he's lying, he said it. So,
well, I think it's kind of odd. I don't understand some of the information. I've watched stories where there's a guy that said he was in that room. He worked with that dude's wife, who worked at the same casino with her. And how did he end up at the same place, the same casino, the same hotel.
Do you see what you're doing? You're sounding like a conspiracy theorist.
No, the guy admitted. The guy admitted.
Okay.
But he was never questioned by the FBI. This guy admitted knowing David Paddock, that dude, and his wife, and he was staying at the same place. Why wasn't he ever interviewed by the FBI?
Bro, stop being a pro-gun guy who wants to keep bump stocks from getting bad and be an anti-gun guy who wants to ban these evil bump stocks. Then listen to yourself. And some of you other people, listen to yourself. Yeah, I said you people, I know.
I absolutely hate to say this.
What do you mean, you people?
When you sound like a conspiracy theorist, even if that's not your point, if that's the way you sound to somebody on the other side, you've totally destroyed your entire argument. The way we have gone about trying to keep bump stocks from getting banned, we did a shit job of trying to keep these things from getting banned. We did it to ourselves. I'm not saying that I want them banned. I don't care about the stupid things, but I don't want them banned. But I don't want them banned not for the same reason that everybody else is saying. The whole they're going to cut off Jerry Micklick's finger thing. When you do that, the anti-gun, all you do is just go, see, they are crazy. So even if you aren't a conspiracy theorist, and even if the thing you're saying isn't a conspiracy theory, to somebody who's not on our side, it sounds like you're being a conspiracy theorist. And as soon as you do that, you delegitimize your entire argument to save something that we have a constitutional right to have.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm tired of being fed a line of crap. That's all we were being fed. We've been fed a line of crap for so long, for so many years, and then they don't even give us the answers to the questions we ask because our questions aren't relative enough to be answered. We never get a true and decent explanation, but yet we suffer the consequence for it.
You're right about that. And
when does that stop, Squib? When does that stop? When do we just say, you know what? Okay, good. You don't care about bump stocks, neither do I. Here we go. We're still not going to give in. When is it time for us to resist the bullshit that the government keeps on implying? I mean, I deal with it with a daily basis, and I've seen Nix fail. I've seen Nix fail with my own two eyes. So you can't tell me background checks work.
Never said they did. Never said they did.
But yet we're supposed to accept it, right? Because the government says they do. So when is it going to be time for us as gun owners to get off our butts and say enough is enough? What when you say that too, to break barrel shotguns and revolvers?
Yeah, but when you say that,
Midnight Range TM is listening. I think maybe Roe might win this one.
Yeah, because you won last week, Budget.
Yeah, I did.
And roll call. You're the fired up son of a bitch.
Wound up.
Sorry, you're the wound up son of a bitch of the week.
As long as you does that little thing with that toy, I'll be happy.
I live in Maryland, and I'm sure you guys are all familiar with the laws around here and the wording of the laws around here. And a friend of mine, we always sit down and we kind of joke around. He was saying, something about assault weapons the other day. And he kept saying it, assault weapon, assault weapon, assault weapon. And I got tired of it because he's the gun guy too. And I was like, there's no such thing as assault weapon. And then we both looked at each other, and at the same time we said, Larry Hogan says there's an assault weapon, so guess what? There's an assault weapon. Squib's point makes sense. Regardless of whether we like it or not, I think that the assault weapon were just like assault pistol. Assault pistol has been used in Maryland since at least 2013. I think it's a horrible statement to make. It's as false as you can get. But since the governor of Maryland believes it, then by force, I'm forced to believe it. So my AR-15s that are sitting over in my closet, they're assault weapons because the people who make the laws around here say they are, whether I like it or not.
All right, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and put this topic to bed and move on. I think that the hell of it is, the conundrum that we're facing here is on all sides here, everybody on the panel is right at the same time. It is a bunch of crap that we're being fed what is essentially a bunch of fertilizer. We're not really being told the entire story. I firmly believe that. And it's time, for us to start being pissed off about it. But on the other hand, if we are pissed off about it and we are saying anything and we are talking about it and we are spreading it, we do sound like we're wearing tinfoil hats to avoid the radio transceivers and from in our head from activating. It just we're really stuck here, and I don't know how to get out of it. We are we're kind of boned, I think. I don't think that there's any real solution to it, because things have been structured at this point so that if we're talking about conspiracies that may or even may not exist, who knows, we're automatically dismissed, so it's never going to be taken seriously, ever.
Yeah. You're correct, Budget. I mean, if you think about it, the only way this is going to get solved is in the courts. I mean, like the GOA bringing the case against the bump stocks. I know that Mac's involved with that. So this is our only hope, is that the courts have sanity and actually follow the Constitution. But that hasn't exactly been happening lately. So you're right. We could be on the short end of the stick with this one, with no recourse.
Yeah, we've been disappointed in our government for a long time. But for those of you who have never been overseas, we've got it better than the rest of the world. I know that's kind of hard to believe.
Yeah.
But
spend
a weekend in Mogadishu and come back to me and tell me.
As flawed as it is, every single one of us sitting here won the frickin' lottery just by being born here. Fact.
But we deserve better. We're Americans and we deserve better.
I've literally been to Mogadishu. I've literally been there. Yeah, we have it a lot better.
Yeah. Thanks for backing me up on that one, Ghost.
America.
So would it be safe to say that we all have American privilege?
Oh, that's a new thing.
You don't give them ideas.
But no, but we do. We deserve better. We really do. This is not some third world country. We deserve better.
I want to leave everybody with this thought. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, Budget, but I want to leave this with a thought. What if the report said there's only 27 casings found in that room? Just think about that. 58 were dead, 27 casings found. Then what would the other side do? How would they react? We're reacting because we don't believe that one item was used. If they came back and said, we only found 27 casings in this hotel room, 58 are dead, there must have been another shooter, or it must have had somewhere else. I would have loved to hear what the other side would have said in that scenario. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but that's food for another thought.
All right. Well, time to go down a different rabbit hole. This is a piece from the New York Times from January 29th by Vivian Wang and Jesse McKinley. New York passes first major gun control bills since Sandy Hook. Albany. New York lawmakers on Tuesday approved the most comprehensive set of gun bills in the state in 6 years, including measures that would ban bump stocks, prohibit teachers from carrying guns in schools, and extend the waiting period for gun buyers who do not pass an instant background check. In total, 6 gun bills passed easily through the state Senate and Assembly, a remarkable sight in a capital that for years has resisted almost all new legislation on the subject. Governor Andrew M. Cuomo, a Democrat, last ushered a major gun safety package into law in 2013 after the massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. The governor successfully corralled recalcitrant Senate Republicans into supporting the so-called SAFE Act that expanded the state's ban on assault weapons, tightened certification requirements, increased criminal penalties for illegal guns, and closed private sale loopholes. Mr. Cuomo has described the SAFE Act as one of his signature achievements, but it has also become a rallying cry for some gun owners and Republican politicians who felt it overreached. Sometimes history irrefutably bears out your actions, the governor said on Tuesday at a news conference lined with gun safety advocates. Today is the next evolution in this ongoing crusade. I gotta stop, just because the wording here just irritates. I mean, I know it's the New York Times, but I guarantee that there was not one actual, true, and for real gun safety advocate in that room. If there was, they weren't standing up there with the governor. I can tell you that. Anyhow, today is the next evolution in this ongoing crusade. The relative ease of the law's passage highlighted, for the second time in just 2 days, the upheaval that November's election brought to Albany. Democrats captured the Senate for the first time in a decade, delivering one-party control of state government. Since the legislative session began this month, both chambers have sent long-stymied bills in rapid-fire procession to the governor's desk. On Monday, for example, a bill to protect child sex abuse victims sailed through the legislature 13 years after its introduction. The Senate, which under Republican rule never allowed the bill to reach the floor for a vote, unanimously approved it. Tuesday's marquee gun bills passed largely along partisan lines. No Republican senators voted to extend the waiting period for completing background checks to 30 days from 3. Just one voted for the proposal to ban arming teachers. The most debated item was the so-called red flag bill, which would allow family members, school officials, or law enforcement to ask courts to temporarily block someone from buying or owning a gun if the judge decided that person posed a potential risk. The provision in particular drew an emotional response from Linda Bagel Schulman, whose son, Scott, grew up on Long Island and was teaching at Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, during the massacre there last year. He was killed while helping students flee the shooter. Parkland would have never happened if they'd had a red flag law, Ms. Schulman said, while sitting alongside Mr. Cuomo, adding that one of the killer's former teachers told her that the shooter had showed disturbing tendencies. Senator Brian Kavanaugh, a Democrat from New York City who sponsored the bill, said the number of New York State residents who die each year, 772 in 2017, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, because of guns, is unacceptable, he added. It's also preventable. I would say they don't die because of guns. I would say they would die because of the jackass using the gun, but that's just me. You know, let's put responsibility on the object and not the person. California, Washington, Indiana, and Connecticut have similar provisions to keep guns away from high-risk people. Republicans suggested the bill would allow to randomly curtail Second Amendment rights for many New Yorkers. Today's actions infringe upon the rights of law-abiding citizens, said Senator Pamela Helming from Central New York. The bill ultimately passed the Senate 42-21 and the Assembly 83-32. A few proposals did earn Republican votes. Those that would establish a gun buyback program, and that would prohibit the sale of bump stocks, which enable semi-automatic rifles to fire in sustained rapid bursts. A bill allowing New York regulators to access mental health records for out-of-state gun buyers passed nearly unanimously. The governor acknowledged that strengthening New York's gun laws could invite legal challenges from gun advocacy groups and activists, given the conservative tilt of the Supreme Court. The High Court's justices recently announced that they would review a New York City gun law, the court's first Second Amendment case in nearly a decade. Several Republicans accused Democrats of grandstanding by pushing laws that already exist. For example, President Trump imposed a federal ban on bump stocks last year after the mass murder of 58 people in Las Vegas. The ban is regulatory, however, not statutory, and several groups have announced their intention to challenge it in court. Mr. Cuomo, a frequent and favorite antagonist of the National Rifle Association, has been accused of politicizing gun control for his own benefit. But he also has a long record of fighting for stricter gun regulations and has frequently pointed out that his public support, especially upstate, never fully recovered after passage of the SAFE Act. On Tuesday, Democratic leaders in the legislature also made their antipathy to widespread gun use clear. I personally don't agree with it, but I respect it, the Assembly Speaker, Carl E. Heastie, said of the Second Amendment. Senator Andrea Stewart Cousins, the Senate Majority Leader, promised further action in the coming months. The only other major gun legislation passed since the SAFE Act was a law last year to take guns away from domestic abusers. It will not be 6 years, believe me, between sensible gun laws. So there you have it, New York.
Well, I think two things just happened in New York. One, Cuomo starting his senatorial campaign. And oh, by the way, if you don't think that Bloomberg's going to run for president, you guys are all crazy.
Yep. And what was the other thing that happened? You said Cuomo started his Senate campain. What was the other?
And Bloomberg's going to get ready to start his presidential campaign. He's the one who's funding everything in New York right now. So
yeah,
you know, he's going to put himself in the front spot.
Well, Bloomberg has already stated, from what I understand, that he's going to put up around $200 million of his own money.
That's correct.
To his presidential campaign. So, you know, he's probably gonna be able to buy the nomination. The only question is who's going to be the running mate. My opinion, I could be wrong on that.
No, I think you're right. I mean, right now the Democrats don't really have anyone anyway, so that would make actual sense, you know.
Well, Cory Booker said he's going to run. He just announced that he's running. Kamala Harris is running.
Like I
there are
said,
some others.
Hillary may be running again.
I'm sorry, Bernie. Go ahead.
I said Hillary may be running again, and Bernie. But wasn't it Bloomberg or maybe it was Schultz who's thinking about running as independent, said they wouldn't run if Biden throws his hat in the ring because they'll dilute the voter pool for old white guys? One of them said that. I don't remember which one it was.
That's a pretty good quote, though.
Mel the Nut says he's rooting for a Booker Harris ticket. Yeah, that would be interesting. It would be real.
I would love for Booker to get it because I don't think he wins. So
it'd be
I don't think
Hooker
either
and
one
Booker.
of them wins, either Harris or Booker.
Right.
Bloomberg has the money to buy it. He has the money to buy all the
one that I'm worried
he
about.
wants.
Yeah, he's the one that I'm worried about.
Yep, me too.
Okay, let me throw this out here. Obama was the best gun salesman in history, right? So would Bloomberg be? For all these people that won't get up off their butt because they feel comfortable that Trump's in office, and so far, some of the laws that are being proposed or are being passed either don't bother them, don't affect them, or whatever. Trump will save us, the NRA will save us. For all those people, will they get up off the couch? Will they put down a bag of potato chips and get off the couch if Bloomberg was president? I'm not saying we should back Bloomberg. I'm not saying, but I mean, you remember everything Obama threw at us, he didn't work. I mean, he won on healthcare and education and stuff like that, but he didn't win on gun control. So
Barack Hussein Obama does not have $50 billion that he can use however he wants. Michael Bloomberg does.
Yeah, but that's to get elected. Once he's elected, you think he's going to use his own personal money to buy people, or he's going to use the taxpayers' money, which is much less, apparently.
I think that he is a power-mad, power-hungry ideologue who will do absolutely anything to wrest control of us from us.
But after Trump got elected, though, tons of people on our side started saying, and things started happening, shouldn't say like the day after, but after things started happening, or since he's been elected, people on our side are saying that he's doing nothing, he's no friend in the Second Amendment, blah, 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 blah. Things were better under Obama. So I'm just going by that logic. Does that mean that Bloomberg's going to get a bunch of votes from people on our side because they're fed up with Trump?
Oh, God, I hope
you have to understand, though, that the Second Amendment is strongest when there's a Democrat in the office. I mean, that's just the way it is. You have the community that's going to be on the edge of their seats fighting. And whether you guys know this, but no, people don't want to acknowledge the elephant in the room. The manufacturers love Democrats in the office. They hate Republicans in the office because everyone just doesn't buy guns. They need to have something going on for people to go buy guns. So whether we want to believe it or not, the industry needs a Democrat in the office for us to be the strongest. Not saying we want them in the office because they can change legislation. But if you're talking about the community being the strongest, it's when a Democrat's in the office.
My worry is a flip of the Senate. That scares me to death because if the Dems have the Senate, the House, and the White House, they're not afraid to just run roughshod over anybody to get what they want done. Unlike the Republicans, who have obviously shown that they're afraid of their own shadow and won't ram things through that need rammed through. The Democrats have proven to us that they'll do it. I mean, look at you have to pass it to find out what's in it. Healthcare bill that they rammed through last time. You know, and if we have a power mad ideologue with more money than he can ever possibly spend in the office to get what he wants, bad.
Michael Bloomberg is the Antichrist. Oh, crap.
Well,
huh?
The Terminator's got him.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. No,
You
but
alive there, Sid?
if Bloomberg gets elected and you have a Senate that goes Democratic, you are going to see Feinstein's assault weapons bill come to bear.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to be
Oh, yeah,
worse than
sure.
it is right now.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh,
might
yeah.
actually get a bill so bad that the Supreme Court will actually have to hear it.
In other news, I think I'm going to go buy a canoe. I'm terrible at operating the things. I tip them over all the time.
Yeah, I think at this point everyone's lost their firearms in tragic canoe and boating accidents. But as much as we joke about that, I mean, it's going to come to the Supreme Court very shortly. And that's going to be our last hope if we
That is
don't
our
get
last
off our
hope.
butts.
I've been saying that for the past year, since I first started doing this live stream, is that the Supreme Court is absolutely our last hope. The election of Donald Trump, even though he is not the most Second Amendment friendly person in the world, did one thing that was of extreme historical significance. It kept Supreme Court nominations out of Hillary Clinton's hands. And that has the capacity to change this country for decades.
The boating accident thing's only going to last for so much long, too. Because it's only going to take them to write another law that says, okay, well, Budget lost his guns in a boating accident. Well, since he was improperly handling his firearms and wasn't safely properly stored and all that, we're just going to arrest him. Oh, my firearms were stolen. Well, you didn't report it. You're under arrest.
Okay, you guys all need to move to Wisconsin where private sale is legal and you don't have to have any tracking whatsoever. So I sold all my guns.
It's legal here in Ohio, too.
I just want to join the yacht club.
All my stuff was abducted by aliens.
Well, and we have Lake Michigan if all else fails.
Yep.
Yeah.
I considered that long before anybody said anything about a boating accident, but I was for real about it. I was thinking, if they're going to come for my guns and I've got to turn them in, I'm going to take them out to Lake Michigan. I'm going to dump them in there and go get them. Now, if I move out west, I'll just dump them in the Grand Canyon. So.
Yeah. So one thing I think is telling about that article, other than the way that the media manipulates the narrative by the language they use, which I kind of touched on, is the Dems are telling you exactly what they're doing. They're telling you that they have adopted the strategy of incrementalism. They're telling you that even though they're getting what they want there, it's not enough. It'll never be enough. You know what? Where is it? From Cuomo. Today is the next evolution in this ongoing crusade. If anyone has ever doubted that if you give them what they want, they'll go away. If anyone's ever thought that, that just tells you right there that you're completely delusional if you think that if you give them what they want, they'll go away. They'll just keep coming back for more. It's an ongoing crusade, and they'll never stop, ever. They will never stop trying to disarm you, ever, until you stop them.
Yeah. No, the only way that you can stop them literally is the Supreme Court. Without the Second Amendment, there would be so many laws that you wouldn't be able to purchase a gun. They will keep making law after law after law, and unless the Supreme Court actually stands up and does their job, we're going to have to abide by them.
And then when the Supreme Court stands up and does their job and says, you know what? Let's say that our Night Strike's wettest dreams come to pass, and the Supreme Court stands up and says, you know what? Shall not be infringed. Okay? Let's say that all 9 justices get up and scream that in unison. So when President Bloomberg says, or what? What are you going to do about it? How many divisions do you command? What are you going to do? And they do whatever the hell they want anyway. Because I can see that happening. You know, tell me, Kavanaugh, are you going to come arrest me if I enforce these laws instead of listen to you? You know, I don't. I think that would spark something that would be absolutely horrific. But I can see it happening because I think that these people are that committed to doing what they want to do and the hell with the rest of us. And maybe I'm sounding like a conspiracy theorist. Maybe I'm sounding like I should be wearing tinfoil on my head. I don't know. But, you know, what would the rest of you guys think? Do you think that it's possible that that even if the Supreme Court does the right thing, that they might just say, screw you. What are you going to do?
I don't necessarily think they'll just say, screw you, what are you going to do? I think they'll go back to the little rat's nest that they work in every week and write up a law that says we don't got to listen to the Supreme Court anymore.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And, you know, I think where you can get into the real weeds is, if you remember a couple weeks ago, Beto, he was like, what's the relevance of the Constitution anymore? And I think if you had the House and the Senate and the presidency with the left now, they could even just go for a constitutional convention at this point and just completely change our government and just get rid of the Second Amendment and any other amendments that they don't like.
Well, then it would have to be ratified in theory by a supermajority of the state legislature.
Of the states, yes.
But, you know, again, why would they follow the Constitution? They don't give a rat's ass about the Constitution.
That's what I say all the time. Only dummies like us care about the law.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, you give it 20 years and the cities get big enough, you'll have so many Democratic voters and so many people voting that direction, you'll have that supermajority. You'll be able to get rid of the Second Amendment.
All they got to do is work on getting rid of the Electoral College.
Yeah,
they've already come out and said that they want to remove the Electoral College, so that way California, they didn't say California, but I'm going to say California. California can pick the president every year.
Why do you think they want open borders and free immigration for everybody and anybody? Legal, illegal, it doesn't matter. Why do you think they want them to be able to vote in local elections? Why do you think they want them to be able to vote in state elections, or hell, even federal elections for that matter? Because they know it's all a way, an end run around the Constitution that they hate.
But they're also not stupid either, and they understand. And I'll just pick one person, not to pick on her directly, but she popped in my mind. Nancy Pelosi knows that she can't walk out on the street and start punching people in the nose and dropping them to their knees, but she can sit in her posh office and with a $1,000 pen that she's got on her desk, sign her name to something that will bring the whole city to their knees.
Mm-hmm. So that's the thing, you know. I've said that the only way we'll win this is in the Supreme Court, and I believe that, but that depends upon the other side playing by the rules, and I don't know that they will. And if that's the case, you know, God forbid, but
see, that's
is it then time to do something about it?
That's where the problem in voting comes up, and we only, and I'll just generalize, only our side talks about the lesser of two evils. You never hear a Hillary Clinton supporter talking about voting for the lesser of two evils. It's only our side, and they understand that we have a dilemma between our spiritual side, moral side, human side, whatever you want to say it, and our natural side, between, man, that guy's a real jerk. I hate all of his policies, but I hate the other policies more. So I got to vote for the guy that I hate less. And they know that. But you ask the Democrats, ask any Democrat in the next 2 years, are you going to vote for the lesser of the two evils? And they'll say, no, I'm going to vote for insert Democrat's name here. Because
no, they vote for the greater of two evils.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They don't think that their side is evil.
They think they're so brave with every radical thing they do now. So it's, I agree. They don't see themselves as evil. I mean, look at the stuff that's just happening in Virginia with, I won't even get into that right now because that'll derail us into a whole nother conversation. But people were acting like, oh, there's backlash for the things we're saying. I would have never expected that because they think everything they do is so rational and ethical and moral and thought out.
Now look, just I don't know if I live right close to Virginia, so I get Virginia news all the time. The guy's Ralph Northam. He's the governor of Virginia, and I'm not going to get into the whole killing babies thing because I wouldn't have wound up some bitch of the decade. But it just surfaced that he's got pictures from his college yearbook with him in blackface standing next to a guy in a KKK suit, the full hood, mask, gown, all the whole spiel.
You're kidding
me. I'm absolutely not kidding you. Look it up. It's everywhere right now. By now it's everywhere, but like I said, I don't know how, you guys got jobs and families and stuff, so I don't know if you saw it yet or not. And they're already pancaking for him. Now, you can't judge him by what he did 30 years ago. He's a different man now.
Wait.
Kavanaugh.
They're not saying that.
They're absolutely saying that.
Those
Even Ralph Northam
motherfuckers.
himself said that the guy himself put out a statement after he made it even worse, in my opinion, for his abortion statement yesterday. He put out a statement about this whole blackface thing and the KKK picture. And basically, in a nutshell, that's what he said was that's who I was, not who I am. And just to
So they have photographic evidence of this dude in blackface.
Yeah,
standing next to a dude with a KKK hood.
Look at my screen.
That's okay. And they got these lying ass people coming across for Kavanaugh saying, "Oh, he touched me 30 years ago when I was drunk, and it was complete fucking bullshit." But this dude gets a pass. Oh my! See, this is why I fucking hate Democrats. This is why I hate liberals.
You'll see feigned outrage, but it's not real. Look, there you go.
Budget. That was a really good Night Strike impression.
Oh, holy cow!
Go have a Marlboro and a cup of coffee.
I gave up smoking about 15 years ago.
Oh, okay.
No, but the reality is, doesn't the governor have to step down? I mean, if you're going to play this social justice warrior, everybody has to be accountable for everything they've done. At this point, you can't exonerate him from this. You can't laugh this off. You can't excuse him. There is no way. This is a PR nightmare for this guy in this climate.
Should Bill Clinton have stepped down?
That's just, I was about to go there. He set precedent forever. He set precedent forever on that.
My prediction will be he will not step down.
No, hell no.
Because once again, I said it a couple minutes ago, nobody cares about the rules but us.
That's it. That's why I say that even if the Supreme Court says shall not be infringed, they're not going to give a damn. They're going to do what they want to do anyway, just like New Jersey does, just like freaking Maryland does, just like California does, just like Hawaii does. They don't give a shit.
For the record, I'm a little tired of these WWE rules, too, that we have to follow by. Because when they pick up a chair and hit my wrestler with it, I should be able to pick up that same chair and hit the guy.
Damn right. Oh, damn. Crazy.
Budget, you got to breathe.
I do have to breathe, man. I'm about to frickin' just... I've got a vein throbbing right now. Giggity.
How about some... How about some low-dose aspirin, okay?
Real quick, Patriot and Dark put out in the chat that he has no worries. They'll just say Squib photoshopped it.
How about that? Well, speaking of stupid and continuing to be stupid, Swalwell's back at it again. This is... if you remember, this is the guy that says, don't worry, we'll just nuke them. Eric Swalwell, right to be safe trumps right to bear arms. From February 1st, 2019, Breitbart. Representative Eric Swalwell, Democrat, California, is pledging a gun control vote next week by exclaiming that the, quote, right to be safe, unquote, trumps the right to bear arms. He argues that the right to be safe supersedes any other rights possessed by Americans. This is from his Twitter account. It says, it's Friday, so call me crazy, but I can't wait for next week. On Wednesday, our House Judiciary Committee will have the first hearing on gun violence in 8 years. A new Congress is putting your right to be safe over any other rights. Hashtag enough is enough, hashtag HR8. While the right to bear arms is easy to find in the Bill of Rights, as is the right to freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom from government intrusion on private property, etc., the right to be safe is elusive. In fact, no such right is declared in the Bill of Rights. Rather, Americans keep themselves safe via the exercise of the whole of their rights, including the right to keep and bear arms for defense of self and of liberty. Swalwell is setting the stage for gutting of our Second Amendment rights. He tweeted, "For too long, an NRA-controlled Congress failed to pass common-sense gun laws, instead of allowing the most dangerous weapons to be in the hands of the most dangerous people. Predictably, thousands have died, and Congress would respond with moments of silence and zero amounts of action." He did not mention that nearly every mass shooter in the 21st century acquired his guns by complying with all the left's gun controls, including background checks, rather than going around them. Nor did he mention that the left's refusal to remove gun-free zones continues to provide a target-rich environment for crazies, and no amount of gun control will change that. Swalwell also failed to note that California, at the state level, has every gun control the Democrats are pushing at the federal level, and they continue to have high-profile attack after high-profile attack. Perhaps this is because gun control does not disarm criminals, but law-abiding citizens. I sent a tweet to Swalwell and told him that the right to keep and bear arms is our right to be safe, you know, from people who would nuke us.
I don't give the guy a hard time for the whole nuking comment because I get what he was saying. I mean, he's an idiot for saying it, but I get it. But just recently, he also did another interview where he said that he knows for a fact that Donald Trump is a Russian agent. He didn't say colluded with the Russians. He didn't say conspire. He said he knows for a fact that Donald Trump is a Russian agent.
Just like Oswald?
Yeah, didn't you hear? Of course he is. Didn't you hear Donald Trump tell Medvedev that he could he'll be more flexible after he wins his next election? And then that Medvedev said that he would tell Vladimir about, oh no, wait, that was Obama. Yeah. They don't mention shit about that. See, it's the hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
I hate these fucking people, and that's why.
I was kind of hoping that he was, so that they would lift the ban on all the Russian AKs and
I know
maybe get a couple of TT-33s in here, and you know, some more Mosins.
SKS for you, SKS for everybody. Be wonderful, but no, we can't have that.
No, all you get is the Tokarevs from Classic.
Yeah. Which aren't bad. I got one. I liked it.
What was it? This Zastava?
Zastava, yeah. Yeah, it's not a bad little gun. It likes to jam with the hollow points I have. I don't know if it's a magazine issue or what. I still have to get some new magazines for it.
I love mine.
Well, what was Night Strike talking about with the 7.62x39? Was he just like talking, or was there actually something in the works with that?
Oh hell, I don't know.
He was talking about banning it from being shipped into the United States or something.
I don't know about 7.62x39. I know they were
manufactured in the United States. I mean, anyone can manufacture it. So
Yeah.
I was kind of listening to the show he was doing in the background, so I wasn't picking up on all of it. So I didn't really understand what he was saying.
Uh-oh. Squib, is that true? Patriot says he heard a rumor that Squib doesn't really like guns anyway.
No, I don't. I'm just I'm a poser, and I just hang with you guys to troll, you know.
Oh, okay. That's good. Well, speaking of good, the last of the main stories tonight, I'm going to go into a little bit of good news for us. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem signs bill to end concealed carry permit requirement. Governor Kristi Noem, Republican, signed Senate Bill 47 on Thursday to eliminate South Dakota's requirement that residents possess a concealed carry permit in order to carry a handgun concealed. The Associated Press reports that the law eliminating the permit takes effect on July 1st, 2019. NRA-ILA Executive Director Chris Cox commented on the elimination of South Dakota's permit requirement, saying, "This law is a common-sense measure that allows law-abiding South Dakotans to exercise their fundamental right to self-protection in the manner that best suits their needs."
Yeah, both of them.
Nolan's actions mean South Dakota joins Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Idaho, Kansas, Maine, Mississippi, Missouri, New Hampshire, North Dakota, West Virginia, Wyoming, and Vermont, making a total of 14 states that allow concealed carry without a permit. The total number of permitless carry states could rise to at least 17, as Texas, Oklahoma, and Iowa are all witnessing efforts to repeal the carry permit requirement in their states during current legislative sessions. As is Ohio, I will add. There is a drive here in Ohio. Matter of fact, I believe there's legislation introduced to do away with our concealed carry requirement. You could still have it for, reciprocity with other states, but that would be wonderful.
Didn't they waive the training if you're a veteran in Ohio?
Yes, they did.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Maybe there's 3 people in South Dakota and only 2 people in North Dakota. But still, for both of them or all 3 of them, this is a win. So
I was going to say, are you saying there's only 3 people total, or 3 law-abiding people?
Oh. Well, I mean, if there's only a few people there, who are you going to rob, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could just rob the same $5 from each other back and forth.
That would be very, very socialist.
Well, that would make.
Well, I wish you guys luck down there getting that passed, because that more stuff like that needs to spread. I'm glad that you've got some good news this week for us.
Yeah. No kidding. No kidding. All right. Well, speaking of good news, we're going to go ahead on into the segment that Roll Call loves the bestest. This is the the self-defense shoutouts. For those of you who are new to the show or who have not stuck around to the end, self-defense shoutouts are not where I am celebrating the death or injury of the bad guy. It is where I am celebrating the lack of death or injury to the good guy, where I'm celebrating the fact that the good guy had the means, method, and opportunity to protect themselves from the bad guy. First up, would-be armed robber shot, killed by customer at Family Dollar. This is from January 29, 2019 from WTSP.com. DeKalb County, Georgia. An armed robbery was foiled Tuesday morning when a person police were described as a good Samaritan shot and killed a would-be robber who pointed a gun in the face of a Family Dollar store employee in DeKalb County. It happened at about 9:45 a.m. at a Family Dollar store in the 7,000 block of Covington Highway. According to DeKalb Police Sergeant Lynn Schuler, the robber had a gun pointed directly at the face of a clerk who was standing at the front counter of the store. While the store was getting robbed, a good Samaritan intervened, Schuler said. He shot the suspect several times. The customer heard the commotion in the front of the store, and when he walked to the front, saw the would-be robber with his gun pointed at the face of the clerk, Schuler said. The customer, who was also armed, pulled his own weapon and fired at the robber. The suspect was pronounced dead at the scene. Schuler said the customer would not be charged in connection with the incident. Outstanding. Good for you, sir.
There's a lot of reports where Family Dollar and Georgia are both in the same report. Just saying. I mean, they could have been at the Dollar Gentry, for Pete's sakes.
Next up, store owner who shot would-be robber, nothing short of a hero. This is from January 24, 2019 by Jasmine Miner for WCPO.com. Cincinnati. A Cincinnati police captain said a would-be robber is dead because a 63-year-old convenience store owner protected herself. A 48-year-old individual comes inside, points a gun to her head, demands money, said Captain Paul Brocksterman. Police reported to the Glenway Pony Keg on Glenway. Police responded to the Glenway Pony Keg on Glenway Avenue at about 4:30 p.m. Wednesday. Officers found James Douglas, 48, had been fatally shot. Brocksterman said the man was trying to rob the West Price Hill store, but the owner put up a fight, shooting and killing Douglas. She's nothing short of a hero, Brocksterman said. Good for you, ma'am. Good for you. You deserve your life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness far better than someone who would try to deprive you of it. And last but certainly not least, this is from January 30th, 2019 by the Associated Press. Retired corrections officer shoots home intruder in Queens. Laurelton, Queens. Police say a retired corrections officer has shot a man who was breaking into his Queens home. The shooting happened around 1:15 p.m. on Wednesday at the retiree's home located on the 138th Avenue and 227th Street in Laurelton. Police say the wounded man was taken to a hospital with what they believed to be a head injury. Officers were searching for a second suspect who ran away. Police say the retired corrections officer is cooperating and the investigation remains ongoing. So, good for you guys. I'm glad that all three of the people who are in these stories lived to tell their tale, and the bad guys, well, go stupid places with stupid people and do stupid things, get stupid results. You know, that's all I can say about them. So that being said, let's go ahead and roll up the sidewalks and lock the doors here. Let's get everything squared away. Like to thank everybody on the panel who stopped by, even those who came and went. I appreciate you being here. Modern Anti-Federalist, you guys need to go ahead and check out his channel if you haven't already. He does some good stuff. I absolutely love the title of his show, This Week in Stupid. Wish I'd have used that one, but hey, the right of the people is pretty awesome too. Let me go ahead and go through the panel. Ghost, thanks for stopping by, sir. Glad to have you with us whenever you can make it. Do you have anything you'd like to plug? Anything you'd like to leave us with?
No, thanks for having me. Go check out gunstreamer.com, man. These guys are doing some really good work, and we need to go support them. So gunstreamer.com, and thanks for having me.
Outstanding. Kingpin, thanks for coming as always, sir. Do you have anything you'd like to leave us with?
Yeah, actually, this time I do have a couple plugs I want to make.
Right
Definitely
ahead.
go check out Mel the Nuts channel. Definitely check out Roll Call's channel. Ghost Tactical, I want to say thank you. I was chosen for the January Drill of the Month winner. Thank you very much. So go check out Ghost channel. He's got the February Drill of the Month out. If you got a chance to do it, go shoot the Drill of the Month. It's really great. Squib put out what has to be my favorite video so far of all time. So go check out Squibload's channel and just watch the latest video he put out. If you don't think it's great, then you'll have to explain to me why you don't think it's great, because I think it's fantastic. And then, of course, like, share, and subscribe, Budget Guns and Gears Review, and tune in every Friday for the Right of the People. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for coming. Mel the Nut, glad to have you tonight. Come in and for a very long and involved conversation, but I was glad to have your input, sir. Is there anything you'd like to leave us with?
I guess check out my channel. I've started doing videos. I'm striving for the lowest production value possible. So
you're gonna have to fight me for that one, dude.
Hey, but I do like talking Squibbish. You guys, you should check that out too. Those are great.
I'm gonna offend some people. I have done like 9 takes on a voiceover and said, I can't release this. I'll have no friends left.
Oh, wow. Roll call. Thanks for coming by, sir. Anything you'd like to leave us with?
No, just go check out my channel. Go check out everybody else on the panel. Everything that David said, it's fantastic work. We're living in some strange times right now. So it's very important for each and every one of us to come together and fight these nasty anti-gun bills that are being passed from state to state to state. Please be aware of what's going on in your state. And other than that, I'll be getting my stuff together, ready to go down to Tulsa. And I hope many of you will join us on this fantastic journey we are going to have.
Outstanding. And last but absolutely not least, Squibload. Anything you'd like to leave us with, sir?
Yeah, when you check out Roll Call's channel, check out his live show, Rants and Raves. It's on a little bit late, but for those of us who work second shift, it sure does come in handy. Appreciate you doing it, Ro. And Caliber Corner will not be on tomorrow morning. It will be on Sunday morning, same time. So that's 9 a.m. Eastern, and just a scheduling conflict, kind of like 2A Tuesday was on Thursday this week. So check out Caliber Corner on the Travis P11 channel, and Gary Gizzard is up next.
All
with
right.
Foul Territory.
Absolutely be sure to go check that out. And I would like to say, as always, thank you to everybody on the panel for coming by. I really appreciate it. I just kind of give us a direction of where to go, and you guys drive the show. I appreciate it. It would be nothing without you guys. Everybody who's listening, whether it be live or in the replay, you need to go and check these guys out, sub their channels. They all have some good content. They all have some something to offer. As far as you guys out there in the chat, as always, I am amazed and humbled that you've chosen to spend an hour and a half tonight listening to me get worked up and wound up and go off about whatever's got me angry this week, which, given the topic and the importance of it, there's usually a lot. I want to leave us, given the importance of the subject matter that we talk about here every week. I want to leave us with a quote by Benjamin Franklin. We've all been talking about how it's difficult to get us all moving in the same direction. The tactical guys, the self-defense guys, the sport shooters, the hunters, the FUDs. We have all these different subgroups within the Second Amendment community, and we all have to remember that we must indeed all hang together, or most assuredly, we shall all hang separately. Get on board with pulling in the same direction to defend our rights, regardless of whether you happen to exercise that particular segment of our right to keep and bear arms. Let your Congress critters and elected representatives know what you think. Send them telephone, telegraph, email, snail mail, semaphore, heliograph, carrier pigeons, and smoke signals. It doesn't matter what you have to do, but you have to do. You have to let them know what you think, and never, ever, ever give up the fight.